Hello and welcome to the Tabletop Turtles preview channel. Today we're going to be looking at Ahoy Shipwrecked. Now this is a game that is going to be coming to crowdfunding or Kickstarter early 2025 is the aim from the creators. It's a roll and write game, and I've got their names here, and I apologise now for butchering them. They are Andrzej, Kozakowski and Miroslaw Talik, and I apologise profusely if I've completely mangled the pronunciation of those. I did my best, so very sorry. Anyway, first we're going to have a look at how the game plays, and when we come back I'll tell you a little bit more about my feelings of it. Here we have the game sheets for Ahoy Shipwrecked. I'll give you a quick run through of how the game plays and what the various pieces are, or places are. And then I'll play through a few turns just to give you a good understanding of how the game plays. So, over here, this is your camp. You have shovels, sorry, not an axe. You have a sleigh to help you collect more wood, fire to keep you warm and to help you stop fatigue, the hut, water trough or guttering as they refer to it, so you collect water which you will need to escape, net for collecting food, spear for hunting. Here is your barrel, one remaining barrel of rum. Here's how you convert from rum to grog, and here is your fatigue meter. Here you have the 5 locations for dice. If you place a 1 here, you won't get any fatigue this evening or the end of the day. Here's the reminder that 6s are wild and can be used anywhere. For using a 2, when you place a 2 here, you cross off 2 plus any other dice and you cross off these. And these are endgame points. Or you can do an upgrade. So making these last longer, make them more efficient. For a 3, you can collect 1 of anything. You've got rope, nails. When I say anything, I mean a tool. You've got tarp for sails, treasure or loot, food, and boards. Here you're creating the boards. So you cut it, you've got wood and you've cut it up. You've got rope and you've got tarpaulins made from leaves. Here you're collecting your resources with 5s. So you're collecting vines, food, wooden logs, finding treasure, getting those nice big palm fronds type leaves to make into sails, or you're collecting water. When you come to this side, this is where you mark off your supply of wood, leaves, vines, and you also have up here the various tools that you can find when you do beach combing. And this bottom one here is making the raft so that you can get away. And you have some which are essential. They've got the exclamation, or the X's are nice to haves. So you need to have these three completed to get off the island safely, while still before the rum runs out. And then the ones with the crosses will give you extra victory points at the end of the game. You put your total in there, and those are the basics. So let's do a few rolls. So you get your 3 dice and you roll them. So here we have a 1, a 2 and a 5. Now the options are, we could just do that. That would stop us getting any fatigue. That would allow us to cross a 0 off. And this one would allow us to collect some resources. Now, we've not filled in anything on the fatigue meter. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to combine that 1 with that 2. So let's turn that into a 3 and put that to one side. And I'm going to move that to there. So with the 5, we need to collect some resources. What are we going to collect? Well, before we collect them, we're going to do the beach combing. Because this action here allows me to get one of these 6 tools. Now, if I get the axe, okay, I can then cross off the axe requirement on there, and I can also cross it off on here and here and here. Now when I use this 5, instead of just getting 1 log, because I've now got the axe, I get 2 logs. So I mark them with a single line. When I use them, I will cross them out entirely. So that's the end of the first day. So we mark off 1 of our rum that we drink to help us sleep, and because we've not rested, we need to mark a fatigue. So we re-roll. Now, oh look, 2 6s, 2 wilds, but we have fatigue. So that immediately becomes 2 5s, and that becomes a 1. Oh, that's a shame. So we could put the 1 there, which would mean that we wouldn't get any fatigue going forward. And we could put the 2 5s there to collect resources. You know, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that 1 on the 5 and turn it to a 4. Because by doing it as a 4, I can build in the camp. And I'm going to build the guttering because I have the wood and I already have the axe. So to show that I've used that, Now this means that at the end of every day I get a water. And as you will have noticed, when you're sailing off on your raft, you will need water, and that now will give me water every time. So that's that die used. And with this 5, now I've just used one of my logs. So should I? Yes, I think I will get some more logs there. And if you remember, because I've got the axe, I get 2 logs. So that's the end of that day. So I get to water. I use another rum, and I get a fatigue. So, 3rd turn. So we've got a 5, a 4 and a 1, but we don't. Because we have 2 fatigue, that 4 will become a 2 and that 5 becomes a 3. You know something? That fatigue is becoming a nightmare. So we'll do that. We will do that, and we will do that. So, because we've rolled using the 1 to cancel out the fatigue, let's get rid of both of we get rid of both of those. So no more, because very quickly you can see that becomes really nasty. The 2, because we're only using the 1, 2, we just cross that out. Still means that we're going to score no in-game bonus points, but we're starting to get there. And the 3. What should we get this time? We could find a plank. Could find some food, some loot. Could find a sheet for the sail. Some nails. Rope, or we could get another tool. I think we will get a hammer this time. So again, over here, show that we've got the hammer by crossing it out. And over here, we don't need a hammer at all. But that means we can now start getting nails to start building our raft. And because we had a 1, we don't add any fatigue in that night, but we still use a supply of rum. And we'll do one more roll. And what do we have this time? We have a 2, a 3 and a 4. Well, they will go there. Yeah, why not? So with the 2, we cross that one out. With the 3, we're going to find a set of nails. So we cross off one of those, because that's an essential item that we need, and we can't, that's not completed till we've got all of those. And to build the base of the raft, so we need nails for that, so we'll find some nails. And for the 4 now, you know what, we're going to use another log. So we've now got the shovel. So when we start digging for loot, we now get 2 loot if we've got the shovel and the knife. That's a very quick overview of how the game plays. So thank you for watching this bit, and we'll go back now for my thoughts on the game. Now, before I get into my thoughts and my opinions, full disclosure, I was approached by the creators of this game just prior to Christmas 2024. We're now in 2025, to do a preview and a run through. I've been offered no financial compensation, no rewards. They sent me PDFs of the game and the rules, which I've printed out myself. So this has had no recompense in any shape or form other than being able to play the game and print out the sheets. Now, in its PDF form, the actual game itself, you can fit it onto 2 A4 sheets of paper, so the actual game boards itself, the overhead is very low. The rulebook, however, is currently 18 pages, and I'll come back to that in a minute. But the gameplay, it's quite straightforward, rolling the dice, using the fatigue modifiers, and also, you know, combining dice so that you can place them in the correct places. Now, when I first started playing this, I actually played it wrong the first 3 or 4 times, in that I was putting dice of any value above a number in a slot, which, if you do that, it does make the game quite easy. But I worked out that, after rereading the rules, that you should only put the dice of a value in a slot, which makes the game much more challenging. In fact, at times it can be quite brutal if you're not getting the rolls and you're having to combine all 3 dice just to make one number because you're desperate for a resource. Can really scupper your plans and make life difficult for you. The timing mechanism using rum, which you can then convert, or you can convert remaining rum into grog to maybe extend the game a bit longer to try and complete it. That's a clever thematic way of running the timer for the game, so you know when it's finished. And then it's not a win or lose. You can win, but you get a score which you can compare with other players, or you just straight out lose. There's not shades of winning, so to speak. You don't always win, but just get different scores. You can outright lose this game. Now, it's also he's got 1 to 99 players. Yes, absolutely. There is 0 interaction. So if there's 4 of you around a table, then you're all playing your own games trying to beat each other's score. One thing that I did was we actually had a 4-player game, and we made it more competitive by one person rolling the dice and then everybody using their modifiers on the dice for their own results. So everybody was working from the same dice thing, and that made it quite interesting, because there was a lot more discussion going on and a lot more talking. But as a single player game, this is really actually quite enjoyable. The mechanics are very straightforward once you've got the rules down, and the games don't take too long, and there is an element of thinking required. Do I go for the sleigh, or do I try and get some other resources? Do I build the huts? Do I light the campfire? When should I turn the rum into grog? All these things make a difference to the outcome of the game. And it's an interesting, enjoyable, and you don't need any rules refresher. There's no symbology that's a nightmare to remember. It's all very straightforward. So the actual game itself, I recommend you take a look at when it comes to Kickstarter. I don't know if it's coming out as pre-printed sheets or if it's just going to be a print on demand. I don't have that information as of yet. But the game itself, as a straight 2 sheets of A4, if you've got the rules on a tablet, perfect, recommend it. It's a good little filler. You need 3 dice, a pencil and a rubber, and you're sorted, or dry wipe, and you're there. Now, onto a little bit of a negative, the rules. The rules do explain the game, but the rule book needs a bit of an overhaul, I've got to be honest, and I will have fed that back to the creators as well. There are parts in the rulebook where in one sentence they refer to dice as dice and also bone, which is, yes, I get where they come from trying to be thematic with it, but it does make it a bit convoluted when it keeps switching backwards and forwards. Also, some of the wording's not 100% clear. But as I say, quantify this, it's not come to Kickstarter yet. It's not been crowdfunded yet. So there is lots of time for them to sit down with the rules, because the rules themselves work. It's just how it's all been laid out and how it's been worded. Once they clean that up, then this will be an instant recommendation for a back. Obviously, caveat, depending on what the price is. If it's just a straight print PDF, totally 100% on board with it. If it's a box with pre-printed sheets, rules, some dice and pencil and rubber, again, for a reasonable price, yes, back it. It's an enjoyable, 20-30 minutes. Once you've got the rules down, you can rattle through a game in about 25-30 minutes. In fact, they actually say that it's 30 plus minutes. And yes, to start with, you're going to be looking at 45 minutes to an hour as you figure things out and sort of battle with your strategies. But once you know what you're doing, you will be doing a game in about 30 minutes. The mitigation of dice rolls using fatigue and combining, it works well. It gives you that challenge. There's no scaling of difficulty in the rules as they are at the moment. And one thing that I did, once I started playing it correctly and only allowing myself to put the 3 on the 3 space rather than 3, 4, 5. Having the 6 as a wild, and if you're finding that you're struggling with it, give yourself a reroll. Allow yourself 1 reroll in a game, or 2 or 3. You can scale your difficulty by allowing yourself a reroll to try and mitigate any absolutely truly awful rolls. But those are the things that I did just to try making the game a little bit easier, a little bit harder, things like that. And they're house rules that work, but as they come at the moment, the game is good. I can recommend that you give it a look on crowdfunding. When it launches early this year, it's well worth a look-see. And it's going to get a tabletop recommended seal. So that is Ahoy Shipwrecked from Andrzej Kozakowski and Miroslaw Talik. This has been Tabletop Turtles Preview. Thank you for watching. Turtles out. Thanks for watching the latest Tabletop Turtles video. Don't forget to click like, subscribe and hit that bell to be notified of new Tabletop Turtles content. Until next time, Turtles out!